Welcome to Modern Mystic Radio, where we dwell on the deep and expand the narrow with your favorite hosts and herbalists, Phil and Tash.
We are inviting you on a modern, mystical, wild journey of self-empowerment through conversations around traditional natural therapies in our modern times, botanical alchemy, self-sufficient herbalism, food as medicine, self-care techniques, and personal anecdotes from our experience working in the field.
We are super excited that you're joining us on the path of modern mysticism, where we aim to give power back to the people by taking charge of their own health.
I would like to introduce you Philip Phildius, a healing practitioner, Heilpraktiker from Berlin, specializing in herbalism and homeopathy. His journey started 8 years ago on a festival ground, meeting a Turkish healer, showing him how to cure his skin condition with plants growing around the festival site. He started studying and working with plants. Since then, with teachers from Cyprus and Germany, making his own medicine, tinctures, creams, ointments, and spagyrics. Originally working as a sound engineer, he's combining sound and healing in his work through meditation practices and introspective healing methods. Finishing his education as a healing practitioner at Samuel Hahnemann Schule in Berlin, he is now working as a homeopathic and herbalist therapist in and around Berlin.
Oh, thank you for this lovely introduction, Tash. So I am happy to introduce you. Tash, or Avant-Garden Life, how she's called on Instagram. Tash is an Australian native, but Berlin grown. Qualified naturopath, Heilpraktikerin in German, specialized in offering consultations in the area of herbalism, acupuncture, and homeopathy, with a focus on health coaching, food as medicine, and holistic living. Tash's practice combines her qualifications with her passions for herbal medicine, making bioregional herbalism, whole food cooking, art, and writing under, how I said before, Avant-Garden Life. Find her on Instagram. She offers workshops on regional foraging, self-sufficient herbalism, fermentation, and intuitive cooking, with a focus on grassroots methods, sustainability, and circularity, exploring similar themes through interactive art installations and exhibitions. So, this is us.
And this is our show.
We are pleased to meet you, dear listeners out there, dear audience. So now you have a little idea of what we are going to do here, of who we are, and what the plan is in this radio show, giving back power to the people. Yeah. So
every week we will have a theme. This month's theme, it will be every month, last Tuesday of every month, we will be having a theme, and each month we will talk and dive and disconnect and expand all the narrow parts of this theme. And our first theme this week is spring shooting and groundlessness, how it makes us feel, how to navigate it, supporting techniques, and just having fun with it.
Yeah, so I think you all know this feeling of groundlessness after a long winter time, especially in Berlin. The Berlin is very known for shitty winters, and knowing this feeling of being ungrounded, not connected to your body and not connected to the earth anymore, because it has been a while being outside for you. We want to expand on that today and advise you what you can do, introduce some plants that we work with, that we love, that can help you rooting yourself again, finding your roots in this uplifting world out there.
And to get us in the theme, we have our first track.
Enjoy. That was Fatboy Slim with Your Mama / Push the Tempo, our first song of the theme of being without any ground, but the theme of groundlessness. So, Tash, what do you think about this theme?
Yeah, groundlessness. It's a great big theme in this present springtime of ours. Spring is a time of budding up, pushing out, throwing out, expansion. And for some people, this can be a little bit too much and creating feelings of groundlessness and spaced outness. And sometimes it's very overwhelming, especially for people who are maybe slower or trying to be slower. And this energy makes us want to do so much, too much sometimes, that we don't have the space. And I think it's very important that we learn to take this space in this time with these energies.
Yeah. I think also the word, if you look at the etymology of the word, it already says a lot, coming from, I think, German and Dutch, even for the English origins from the German springen, which is to jump. Or if you look at the springs that are inside Feder auf Deutsch, that are
beds.
In beds or anything like this. They jump, so they compress the energy and then they relieve it in a very fast, spontaneous way. And that's basically what happens with us in the winter, right? So in the winter we are compressed, it's all dense, energy is going in the ground, and the same happens with the plants. For the roots, their whole energy is going into the earth. And suddenly spring comes out and the world and life wants us to jump out again, and it can be overwhelming. There's not really a smooth transition. It's happening super fast, and especially these days with global warming coming up, changing weather from 0 to 25 degrees in like 2 days. I think, it's a very overwhelming sensation.
And as we know here in Berlin, it sometimes can go back down in the energies, which happened this year in April. It got super cold again, and then this energy of up and down, and it's so extreme that I think for our systems, it's very overwhelming. And some people, as I said, they work really, really well with it. And if they are a speedy kind of uplifting, springy person in general, but if you don't have that energy or that character, it can cause all sorts of illnesses and ailments, and even to the point that some people come into small depressions because they can't, they have to stay inside because the energy is just so upward and springy. And we're not always ready for that.
No, definitely not. But don't worry too much. There are ways to ground you again and connect to your body, and they are sometimes very simple. I mean, I think maybe it's interesting to talk a little bit about what's happening in these moments of energy load or unloading, and the stress that happens with it. Just from a medical point of view, like activation of this axis of our hypothalamus, hypophysis going to the adrenal cortex. We release hormones in a way, adrenaline, noradrenaline, epinephrine, that raise our cortisol levels in the body. So we are in a stress mode. Our body is having sensations of stress, and as it's a very good thing that we are able to do this in this fight or flight situation. But of course, if it becomes chronic, we have a big problem, and it can create all kinds of diseases because our body cannot function anymore. The immune defense system is not working anymore. It creates cortisol levels, create really this tiredness that we are experiencing. So from this kind of view, it's always nice to have it's good to know your cortisol levels, but you don't have to go to the doctor directly. There's a way to just feel into yourself and see what means stress to you, to have an understanding of what your stress levels are. And then, of course, there's plenty of plants that can help you with this kind of stress.
Yeah, also our system at this time of year is very, very, very exposed. It's this time from autumn to spring and from winter to spring and from autumn to winter are the two times in the year that our systems are very open, and that's why we have the colds and flus, and it's got a lot to do with the way that our system has been so stagnant in winter and that it hasn't been moving a lot. We tend to eat heavier foods and we tend to sit around a lot more and we don't go outside, and all of a sudden this energy comes up and our systems are not moving fast enough with how our bodies and the energies are wanting to move. And in this way, the plants that grow at this time of year allow our body to come back or come into the flow again of spring and support us by not just rootiness, but also getting our systems completely in movement again.
Yeah.
Which is extremely important. And that's always nice to go out into the nature and see what's growing, because actually that's what we need right now.
Yeah.
In the season that we are experiencing.
Yeah, I agree. The time of spring cleansing, I think, is super important. I mean, this detox is a very known thing at the moment, and a lot of people do detox cures for a while. And you shouldn't do it over a longer time, but it's always a good tradition to start your spring with a little bit of detox. And yeah, like you said, go out in the forest, or if you have a garden, see what's growing in your own garden. There's this saying for naturopaths that the things you need, they're always growing in your garden. So it's always interesting to have a little look around and see what are the wild plants that are disturbing your flower fields, and not push them away as Unkraut. I don't know, is there an English word for that?
Weeds.
Weeds, yeah.
The wonderful weeds.
The wonderful weeds, yeah. Just see what they are, and if they may be even there for helping you.
And if you don't have a garden, you can also go out and see which plants you're attracted to, because they're often the ones, even just in the parks, the ones that jump out at you are generally the ones that you're needing at that point in time. I think that's always an important thing for all us city folk to think about, that we may not have a garden or we may not have a balcony, and that there are so many different ways. There's lots of small gardens, Kleingarten, as we call them in Germany. Maybe you have a friend or an auntie, or just go out. Brandenburg's very easy to reach. And also bringing you back down to the earth, walking on the earth with bare feet. Very important when you're feeling ungrounded and you're feeling off the planet. And I think one thing we also need to remember is that it's also okay to feel like that. If you're feeling ungrounded and overwhelmed, then just remember to take time out. Take some deep breaths, maybe take a day off if you can, or even half a day or a few hours, and just rest and be, and not feel the pressure from the outside to do. I think we need to remind ourselves of this quite often, that it's okay to feel that way as well. We're going to feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a very important point you're making, to understand that it is actually the time of the year to feel ungrounded. It's not just you, it's all of us. And some may not have a problem with this as others, but in general, it is the time of the year. So take the time, respect the energy flow of life in this situation. Respect the springtime working through your body, because it prepares you for summer. It prepares you for a different time of the year. And And I really like your, I really like your approach to nature anyway, because I like working with you, but I like this intuitive method. Thank you, Tash. The intuitive method of going outside and see what attracts you, what you think or what you feel is a plant that you're resonating with, because a lot of people follow their detox rules using algae, and that can be quite hardcore plants to use. And it might be a little bit too much for you as an individual. And I think it's always important to have an individual plan for yourself that aligns to your needs. Because for some, chlorella or other algae might be super great for a detox. For some, it might be way too much because they're depending on your medical history also. So it's always good to either consult an expert like Tash and I or some other Heilpraktikers out there in Berlin or anywhere in Germany. Or really get in touch with your own story, medical history, and then find out what your body needs. And I think the intuitive system is a very nice way to do it, to get in touch with a plant, get in contact with them, sit down, have a little conversation with this little planty spirit out there. And then start reading about it, start informing yourself, and begin your own journey of self-healing.
Yeah, which is very important to educate yourselves. I think we have, in a time where we are, we listen to everyone else, what we should be doing, what we should be taking, how we should be doing it, when we should be doing it, and that's just not the reality. That's not how nature works, and we are nature. That's how we are. We are like a plant, and I think sitting with the plants is one of the most important things we can do, and taking time to just be with them and understand them. And of course, educate yourself about them. You can go and look at workshops, like some of the ones I do, or some of the ones that I'm sure me and Phil will do in the future. Learn. If you're feeling uncomfortable, then go and ask someone for help also, maybe that knows a little bit more, who's done detoxing, or who has, worked with plants more, has worked in other therapies. Have a look in your community. There's lots of great stuff out there, lots of great gardens. And I think asking also others and talking with others is also an important part of this healing process that we're all working on.
Yeah. Speaking about sitting with plants, maybe you want to elaborate on that a little bit. You want to tell how you would be doing, give a little bit of a instruction, because I can imagine for some people it's hard to imagine what you could do, what it could mean to go into a meditative state. I think it's very different for everyone. It's very hard for me. I've been working with plants for such a long time now that I almost don't need to go into the meditative states personally anymore. I just, for example, like the roses on my balcony, it's like I have conversations with them. It can sound really weird to some people, but I sit there and it's like they're friends of mine and I have conversations. But if you've never done it before, even just going and sitting, and I'll give an example of because we're in a city here, that people don't feel that they always have to go to like a big forest and somewhere where it's completely quiet. You can go and you can sit on your balcony, or you could go and you can sit in a park and just be. That's all it takes, just be. Maybe lay down, maybe take the plant. Really good techniques are drawing the plant. That really helps for you to really connect with it, but also really study it and understand it. Other recommendations I always give is choose a plant and work with it for the whole year. Like, look where it grows, look how it grows. This helps to also really understand it as its singular individual, because they all are very different. And have a look at the plants that it grows around. And specifically in the springtime, you'll notice a lot of these spring herbs that help for detox, they all will grow with each other, and you can almost use them all and take them all to clean our systems. And by doing that, it not just helps to clean the system, but it helps in this idea of groundiness and bringing us back to the earth, which we were a bit slightly separated from in winter. In a way, there's not a lot of green, there's not a lot of visual colour that we're seeing. We're not outside as much. We're not working barefoot generally. Maybe some people do. And so our disconnection with the earth is rather disconnected in winter. I mean, we are supposed to hibernate anyway, so technically it is not such a bad thing, but I think the spring is very important to come back into the earth and using different techniques. Yeah, it's true. Coming back to life. I also like to know the name of the plant I'm working with, because it's a great way to address it. a plant feels talkative if you speak to it, but in order to speak to it, it's the easiest way is to know its name, and just getting inspired with that. And for some people it may sound weird, and at the same time, it's I think it's an interesting approach on getting in contact with a plant to talk to it and see what thoughts come to your mind while doing that, and finding inspiration by the plant. Because I think most of you guys out there, you know your brain in a certain way of like, you know your thoughts, your thought patterns, and how you work. And it can be an interesting experience to get in touch with a plant and see what it does to your thoughts, and see there are new thoughts coming in. And I call it inspiration, and I do believe that it's the plant talking to me in a way. And there may be some people who hear voices of plants. I'm not sure if everybody's experiencing that. So I think the easiest way is to just see what happens inside your head, and also, of course, inside your body. Like even smelling a rose, for example, it has a super great sensation, bringing you directly in the body, in the here and now. It's what all the spiritual mentors and gurus are giving you advice, techniques to do. And one of the easiest ways is just to smell a flower. Like you are directly in the body, connecting to this flower in the here and now. And I mean, what could be more spiritual than that? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, a good way to maybe help our listeners understand this is to call it sensory herbalism. This is a way that I think me and Phil like to work very much, is with the plants in a very sensory way, and to teach people in a sensory way, because we can tell you what they do and you can read about what they do, but to really understand what a plant does, you have to experience it yourself. And I think that's with all things in life. And I think, as Phil's just explained, tasting it, smelling it, looking at it, touching it, all these sensations bring you all different things, and to understand what you're feeling in those moments. Perhaps you want to record it. Some people like to write, some people like to draw. You can do it in so many different ways. You just need to find your way that you feel comfortable with and that helps you to understand it.
Yeah. So before we go into our into the next part of the show, where we want to introduce you some of the plants that we're working with that can help you with this theme of groundlessness. Oops, that was already the beginning of the new
Sorry about that.
So before we do that, I'm going to play another song, first idea of grounding that can invite you and will invite you a little bit, coming into your body, feeling your body, feeling the sensations running through your system, and breathe in and enjoy the music.
That was Panchamama by Beautiful Chorus. I would like to send the mic over to Phil, and he's going to start talking about some plants and adaptogens.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure.
So the question is a little bit, what can we do in order to ground ourselves, in order to deal with the stress that spring is bringing into our bodies? And one big word that's out there for quite a while, especially in the alternative scene, is adaptogens. So I want to talk a little bit about that, what they actually are, and also introduce one of my favorite adaptogens to you, and how to work with it. So the word adaptogens basically describes plants that have the properties of normalizing body functions in stressful situations, and increasing the body's resistance to stress. So they can support the organism in adapting to physical and mental demands and stress situations or stressful situations. So They basically use them for centuries. The word adaptogens, I think, is out there from 1947 or something like this. I think it's coming from a Russian scientist that basically found some of the chemical components and how it works on our bodies. But the plants that are called adaptogens nowadays, they have traditionally been used for centuries or even thousands of years. They're like plants like Eleutherococcus, which is like the European ginseng. I'm not sure how the English pronounce it. Rhodiola, Rosenwurz in German, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. Also, Japanese or Chinese ginseng and Glyceria glabra is one of the big ones. Also, Crataegus, the white thorn, maybe.
The hawthorn?
Hawthorn, thank you, hawthorn. Yeah, also is an adaptogen helping you in after viral infections. We had a big thing like post-COVID in the last years, or which is still a big thing at the moment, and attacking your heart. So things like hawthorn, that is growing everywhere in Germany, for example, can really help you to stabilize your heart function. And I think it's important to understand that. There's loads of studies about adaptogens, and it's hardly understood on how they work because it's a very complex behavior that they show. And there's loads of theories that are not 100% proven. So the idea is really that it works on our stress level, on this axis that I was talking about. So the chemical compounds of the plants have a direct influence on our adrenal cortex, working on adrenal release and working on the cortisol level in our bodies. And there's a difference between stimulants and adaptogens, because a lot of people use stimulants in order to become more energetic. Is kind of what we need in this stressful situations. We need to be energetic because stress on a longer time, it creates a tiredness, can bring you into a depressive state. And the difference that it's adaptogens normally don't have any downs afterwards. So we have these down moments when we use a stimulant, like coffee, for example, is a very easy one. You all know the effects of not having a coffee when you are coffee addicted. And I'm calling it addicted, which is a harsh word, but most of us are, including myself. And if you drink coffee every day and stop for a week or so, you directly feel the effect. So it's interesting just to have a break with coffee sometimes as well, just to understand what's happening inside your body. So yeah, that's adaptogens are a great thing to use. You can use them as singular plants. You can use them as complexes. You can make tinctures out of them and use them in a part of a tincture or tea mix also. And one of my favorites is probably Rhodiola rosea, which is a beautiful, robust plant from the north. So it really grows in the eastern part of Europe, and in the north it really loves the cold, and it has this little fat, nice leaves that are whereas a beautiful yellow flower coming out of it, and it has strong strengthening properties. There's also a saga or like myths about the Vikings having used it already in order to gain their strengths, and they are. There's a lot of myths about the transformations of the Vikings, of how they go into war and anything, and that's more probably nightshade plants or some mushrooms. Transforming them into mighty warriors. But for diseases, also infections, the rhodiola was used for centuries. So what it does, or the way I use it, is, for example, in a post-infective stage, while you had a virus infect, for example, and you really feel down, you have problems breathing, your body's in a stress mode, you have high cortisol levels, you can beautifully use rhodiola to decrease these cortisol levels, to adapt to the level of stress that's happening inside your body, to regain your energy. And it does it in a very soft way, in my opinion, bringing you up to the normal state that you're used to live with. It also has been used by scientists from the cosmonauts. They use it for cosmonauts in space. They use extracts of the roots. The roots is normally used in the medical field because being in space is just in such an abnormal situation for people. So it creates a lot of stress symptoms. And rhodiola was used for them very effectively. Yeah. So it's important. You won't find it so much outside if you don't know what you're looking for, especially. But if you do find it, please don't take it with you because it's actually quite rare or overfished, overforaged. So it's nice to grow it yourself, of course. Then you can use it, or to buy it from a certified vendor, because we don't want to decrease the rhodiola population out there. It's already quite few of those plants. Yeah.
On that note, with over-collected plants, just be aware, everyone, to always look on the red lists of plants to see which one are over-collected, and try and find ones that are local or that can be grown, that we can support the nature a little bit through not always using the plants that, are on the red list. And for people that don't know, the red list is a list of plants that are not to be collected at all. Whether you find them anywhere, whoever finds them, they are not to be touched.
Or Tash is coming after you personally. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to finish my little monologue about the rhodiola, I think the way I like to use it is always in a mix of with other herbs that are personally like collected, no, not really collected, but like chosen for you for the state that you're in. I always like to do a mix of 5 or 7, even 3, just in order to have like a complete picture of your system at the moment. Yet there are very promising studies of just using the extract of rhodiola as well. So if you are a brave person and willing to try out yourself, I think there's great extracts for like for self-use from companies like Logos or So it's a very interesting thing to use, adaptogens in general, and I think rhodiola, one of my favorite at the moment. You can mix them up also, different adaptogens, and always be careful of the side effects. You should not use them with antidepressants, for example, or look up the side effects of the extracts that are using.
Yeah, if you are wanting to experiment with the plants and you are taking medications, just make sure you talk to your doctor about it. For interactions, and we always suggest go and see someone, go and see a practitioner. That's what we're trained for. We study for many years to prescribe you the herbs, and some herbs can be a little bit too overwhelming and can actually make you more unwell or stimulate areas which shouldn't be stimulated for certain people, and this is why we exist and why you come and see us.
Yeah. So Tashi, what are the plants that you brought today?
So just in expanding on the adaptogens, I thought I would throw one in there. It's a local plant. It's growing all through spring. It's a great lymphatic, but also a great nervous system support, which you could throw in with your rhodiola to help the nervous system. It's Cleavers in English, Klettlabkraut in German, and the Latin name is Galium aparine, and I always do suggest learning the Latin names if you do want to get into plant medicine, just purely because throughout the world they all have the same Latin name, but the actual names of the plants can change even within English. The same plant will be called a different name. For example, Cleavers in the UK is often called Sticky Willy. And you'll know this plant when you find it because it sticks to you. And as children, you may have played with it, picking it and throwing it at each other. Whenever I show people this plant, they generally know it. It's in the coffee family, which is a very interesting thing, and people can use it as a coffee substitute. So it supports us in a way, I guess, sort of similar to an adaptogen, but it's working much more on our nervous system, which is really important in these fast city ways, especially in our big cities, but also in the spring times to feed our nervous system a little bit, especially when our anxieties get very high and the depressions get low, or we just get overwhelmed with all the feelings and energies that are around at this time. It also shines as a lymphatic, which is very important to get our blood moving. If we're stagnant, as I talked a little bit before, our systems get very overwhelmed when we're not moving. If you just imagine like a pool of water that's not moving, what happens? It gets stagnant, it gets smelly, it gets foul, and that happens within our bodies. And when we start to get like that, then illnesses occur, such as spring colds and flus or other more heavier illnesses. Even anxiety can be caused from our inner water's not flowing. And Cleavers is a really great one for this. It will get the lymphs moving. For anyone that doesn't know what the lymph is, it's lots of little things throughout our body, little nodules, plus some organ systems or organs, little Anhang, as we call in German. Can't think of the English term right now, but little organs that, in very simple terms, clean our blood and also help our immunity. It's a massive immune support, which, again, when we're stressed, our immunity is very low. So taking these lovely little lymphatics will support us in a really very gentle way. Cleavers are a very gentle herb. You can give them to most people. Of course, again, with the medications, always be careful. You can eat them, you can put them in food, you can make teas out of them, preferably a cold infusion, which I will talk a little bit how to make that in our recipe section. And they are ruled by the moon, so we do sometimes like to talk about the plants and their astrology aspects. The moon rules the waters in our body and the waters on the earth. And here we have the connection between the lymphatic part of the plant. And this is how we sometimes work with the plants, is we look at the planets and how they rule and how they mirror what the plant may do in our systems. There are so many different ways you can work with the plants. Some people will say it's ruled by Venus because it's the lymphatic side of it. But, you can choose, you can research, see whatever feels good for you.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole show about that, I think.
Oh, yes, we are. Maybe many shows. I'm a big fan of the Cleavers. I use it a lot at this time. And you can mix it with some of the other lovely little spring planties like dandelion, nettle, and ground ivy, and they're really great cleansers in spring. And if we clean those systems out earlier on spring when they're growing, we will find spring and this whole groundlessness feeling that may happen at this time will become a lot easier. And we also get all that, they're super high in nutrients, a lot of these plants, or all of them. And we're also getting the nutrients back in our system, which build it up and help us with any types of stress that come our way. Yeah. So maybe we play another song, or would you like to talk a little bit about?
I think we only have like 12 minutes left.
So okay.
Let's
See,
directly go in our recipe section, maybe.
Okay.
And play a song in the end of the show. Yeah.
So we wanted to, in this show, also make it very hands-on in a way that you can go out there, you can work with the plants in very easy ways. I'm a massive fan of food as medicine. So we wanted to add a little section in here called Recipe Time.
Recipe time.
Yeah, I've got many ideas always about this section, but we're going to keep it very simple this week. First month, very simple. So I'm going to do the first one, maybe I even come up with a second one. I wanted to, as I talked about the Cleavers, so there's a really beautiful, it's not even so much as an edible, it's more as a drinkable. And you gather the Cleavers, preferably on full moon, because hence ruled by the moon, and just grab a big load of them, whack them in a jar, put them in just a bottle, add some nice water in there, and then put them outside and leave them in the moonlight. Just for the evening, the whole night, and then in the morning, pull out the Cleavers, and you can drink this water. And this water is a really very, very gentle, very soft, very tasty, in my opinion, lymphatic juice. When you, this is called a cold infusion in herbalism, and you can really put quite a lot of the Cleavers in there, the Klettlabkraut. You will really find them everywhere. They're still even growing at the moment. You can put it at any times of the moon, but full moon, of course, is the strongest. And then once you've done that and you've taken the Cleavers out, you can put it in the fridge and leave it there for a few days and drink a little glass every day and do like a little 3-day lymph cleanse.
Nice. Yeah. A very simple way for me to ground myself through food is, it's really as simple as it is. To use root vegetables, any kind of roots, beet roots, even potatoes or something like this. I like to use roots of plants I know from outside. My favorite is the Angelica, which is a special one. So I can't really recommend just using that. But whatever you know, it's always a good thing. If you want to collect them, forage them outside, go always for the ones you know. You know that you can eat. It can be roots of petroleum. What's the English word for that?
Petersilia.
Yeah.
Parsley.
Parsley. Yeah, that's what I mean. Or coriander root or whatever, pastinaque. And the idea also, if I do a tea mix or tincture mix, to put root plants or the roots of some plants in order to ground yourself, to root yourself in the ground. It's super easy. And yeah, sometimes that's how the world just works. Super easy.
Yeah, roots, as Phil said, is a very important part of rooting ourselves, and there's also the time in spring is the time that we collect the roots of the plants, and in this way we collect them in the new moon. And this is not an esoteric thing, this is actually a scientific thing. Due to the waters in the earth, they are lower in the new moon and the roots are not so watery. So we tend to collect them then, and before they flower is best, so the energies are still in the root, and there you can be collecting the wild roots, the roots of herbs in your garden, roots of vegetables, very nice times to be eating them.
Yeah, there's always a time to collect roots, which is basically in the spring or in autumn, when the energy is either going down or going up, and has not, in the winter you don't collect anymore because they need to rest also. And on the other side, if you have the feeling that you need roots at the moment, it's always okay to go outside and find a plant if there's loads of them, and take the root and work with the root. It might not be as powerful as in spring or autumn time, but sometimes that can be also be quite nice if they're not too strong. Yeah. And of course, we're going to put some of the recipes and the plants that we introduced today on our Insta site. So you can check them up there. Follow us on Modern Mystic Radio. Yeah. Or follow me on Power Plants Berlin or Tash on Avant-Garde Live, and you find the link to our Insta for the radio there. And then you can have a deeper look if it was a little bit too fast for recipes and the plants that we introduced today.
And if you are going out there, just a little note on sustainable foraging. If you are going out there, maybe do a course with someone. If you don't know the plants, never pick a plant that you're not 200% that you know what it is. Never pick too much. My way of always working with the plants is if you look at the plants that you're wanting to collect the tiniest little amount that only you will need, and when you stand back and look at it, it should look exactly the same. It should not look like it has been touched at all.
Yeah.
This is very important to our work, that you're not going out there as a consumer, but going out there as an ally with the plants and working with them and not just taking them.
Yeah. We are nature. We are part of nature. It's not like we're going in nature. We are nature, and we should respectfully deal with that. There's another rule that only take like 10% or something, but sometimes don't take any if you don't need it. It's okay to sometimes take just to get in touch with something, but if there's not a lot, just leave it if you're not sure, if you don't need it. And I think that's most of it for today. Do you have something
time
else?
is up.
Yeah, it's something you want to add?
Yes, there's always things I want to add.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think let's play one last song for relaxation.
Yeah.
And then we say goodbye.
Yeah, we wanted to end this show today that if you have a moment now to just sit back, not do anything, take a few deep breaths and come into a grounding mode of relaxation.